how do women identify business owners, period, because men go through the same thing, I'm sure. How do they identify what the right price point is?
So there's not a simple answer to that. Part of that is, who are you selling to? What does your audience expect? So there are three types of value that I talk about. Extrinsic value, which is your pricing, and it's the pricing of services and goods that you buy as well. Somebody put a price on that. Intrinsic value, which is when your buyer comes to you, they already have some idea or expectation, and they already have some measure of trust, or there's that likability, or they wouldn't be talking to you, right? So a lot of times we all deal on referrals. So somebody has referred them to you. Now you're visiting with them. And so they already have some sense of your value, or they wouldn't be having the conversation. And so that's the intrinsic value. Perceived value is the level to which your buyer believes you can either solve their problem or help them grab an opportunity. And the really good news is that perceived value can be built. And it's built by everything you say and do when you meet that buyer. So it's a multi-step process of how you can build that value. So when someone comes to you, we often assume that, and sometimes we make up things in our mind about why they won't buy.
Oh, yes. Lots of stories when I first started.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, or if you're feeling insecure about somebody, or somebody comes to you that's a big name, and you think, wow, this would be so great to work with this company or this person, but you're also feeling a little intimidated. So all of those things conspire for us to approach it cautiously, price low, all of this mental gymnastics that we do. Excuse me. And so when you're starting with your pricing model, that's the key, is to have some structure to it, because it's not personal, it's structural, right? So the problem we have.
We go deeper on that for a second.
Sure.
Yeah, I want a little clarification, because I think that's amazing, but I'm not 100% clear.
Okay, so I'm going to give you two examples. One is, you have a client who comes to you and they ask you a question. Many of us assume it's a criticism. They ask a question and we get scared and we think, oh, they're questioning my experience, my expertise. They're questioning that I don't really know what I'm doing. Excuse me. And that's not the case. They're just asking a question. But our insecurities get in there.
Right.
Okay, so we take it personally.
But
the second example I'm going to share is, you're talking to a prospective buyer, and that buyer asks questions, or you're getting ready to talk about the compensation, and you have guided them through the sales process. You're now ready to talk about pricing, and you get nervous. And as you're talking about it, they have an objection, or they ask a question, or they push back. Again, we take it personally. And that can scuttle that whole conversation, because we're going to be reactive and we're going to answer in a defensive way.
Defensive, yes.
Exactly. Right. So if you have a structure around your pricing and you talk about that structure, then it's not personal. And you will get no objections. You might get a few questions, but that's only because they need more explanation, not because they're questioning your pricing. And if they are questioning your pricing, that's not an ideal buyer, because that means they
or
don't.
You haven't proven ROI yet, or
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you haven't built the perceived value, and if they don't, and if they don't get it, that kind of value that you really provide, and they're price shopping, my contention is that's not an ideal buyer for you.